Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Recently I reviewed Talisman Nemesis Call of the Hunt, the new One vs Many expansion for Avalon Hill's new edition of Talisman, the magical quest game. I also made a second video unboxing all the secrets. So you might think I have nothing left to say about this expansion. But not quite. I wanted to make one more quick video taking a closer look at a particularly interesting new element of this expansion, the new inner region board. This is a very specific subject matter, so let's get nerdy. The board is double-sided. One side is for use in the One vs Many gameplay mode, while the other side can be used to mix things up for your regular competitive games. As this is a new inner region, you don't get any new adventure cards, not like you would with expansions from previous editions like the dungeon or the city. But you do get new hazards, and I thought it might be interesting to step through the regions one by one, comparing them to the original hazards and seeing which path we would prefer to tread. When we first step through the Portal of Power, we stop at the Pixie Ring. This is exactly the same as the Plane of Peril. There are no threats, but you must immediately end your turn. The text on the board advises you that from now on, you won't be rolling the dice, only moving a single space per turn. Moving clockwise around the board, we reach the Siren's Grotto. Here we roll 3 dice and subtract our craft. This is exactly the same as the mines on the original board, but the punishment for failure is more interesting. In the mines, depending on your score, you would either stay where you were or get teleported to the Plane of Peril, the Portal of Power, the Warlock's Cave, or if you were particularly inept, the Tavern. In the Grotto, you have a slightly better chance of staying where you are, as you have to score 1 or less instead of 0 or less, but on a score of 2 or 3, you lose a life and get sent back to the Pixie Ring. On a score of 4 or 5, another hero of your choice gains 1 strength, and then you get sent to the Pixie Ring. And on a score of 6 or more, you move to the Cursed Glade. I think I prefer this distribution compared to the mine. Being sent to the Glade isn't as annoying as being sent all the way back to the Tavern, and in most cases, you aren't going to be set back more than 1 space. However, these setbacks come with other punishments. I particularly like the way you may end up giving other heroes more strength. This is an excellent catch-up mechanism as your eagerness to advance grants boons to those you are leaving in your wake. And yet the bonus they receive isn't going to make it easier for them to follow in your footsteps, as you need craft in the Grotto. You are increasing the likelihood that they will head in the opposite direction, which we will get to shortly. The next spot is the Fey Court, which replaces the Vampire's Keep and the Pits. In the Keep, you roll 1 dice, losing from 1 to 3 lives, with the option to sacrifice 1 follower per life lost. In the Pits, you roll 1 dice to generate from 1 to 6 strength 4 pit fiends, and then you have to defeat them one by one. The Fey Court is completely different. You roll 2 dice. On a score of 2 or 3, you are captured by the Fey and must feast forever. On future turns, you can roll 1 dice to attempt to escape. You need to roll a 6 to break the spell. On a score of 4, you lose 2 lives. On a score of 5 or 6, you lose 1 life. On a 7, you lose 1 life but can advance next turn. On an 8+, you suffer no ill effects and can continue next turn. The next step is the Valley of Thistles, which replaces the Valley of Fire. There is no hazard here, but you must have a talisman to enter. So how does this clockwise route fare compared to the original? I would say it has a lot going for it. For a start, the Grotto isn't quite as annoying. Roll badly too often and it will kill you or buff your enemies, but you won't get constantly bounced to the outer region of the board. At worst, you will end up in the Cursed Glade, which is a reasonably short trek from the Portal of Power. Meanwhile, the Fey Court is fairly easy to succeed at. You just need an average score of 7 on 2d6 to get through, and it replaces 2 spaces on the original board. Sure, there is a chance you get stuck for a long time trying to escape the feast with the Fey, but generally you are going to move through this path much more quickly. Between traversing less spaces, potentially buffing your enemies, and with fewer risks of setbacks, this route should lead to a faster endgame. Additionally, while in the original it was beneficial to have high craft for the mines, a lot of followers for the keep, and high strength for the pit fiends, you can handle the trip through the Fey Domain with just a high craft score, which means it isn't going to take you so long to feel prepared to take a run at it. But what about the counterclockwise route? First you will face the Meadow of Longing, where you roll 3 dice and subtract your strength. This replaces the original crypt where, depending on your role, you would either stay where you were, go to the Plane of Peril, go to the Portal of Power, or go all the way back to the city. The Meadow of Longing, by contrast, sees you staying where you are on a score of a 1 or less, losing a life and moving to the Pixie Ring on a score of 2 or 3, choosing another player to gain 1 craft and then moving to the Pixie Ring on a score of 4 or 5, or moving to the Forest. So for the most part, it's the inverse of the Grotto. You use strength on the roll and there is a potential another hero of your choice will gain craft. However, I dislike the fact that going this way can send you to a space in the outer region, the Forest, while the Grotto will send you to a space in the middle region, the Cursed Glade. This seems like an odd choice. It means there is a result in the Meadow that is definitively worse than the comparable result in the Grotto, so it feels like strength heroes are being put at a slight disadvantage. Although perhaps that is to offset the fact it is usually slightly easier to gain strength than it is to gain craft. After the Meadow is the Basilisk's Hollow, which replaces Death's Domain and the Werewolf Den. In Death's Domain, you had to dice with death. Win the dice off and you could advance, lose the dice off and you lost a life and had to roll again next turn. Meanwhile, in the Werewolf's Den, you rolled 2d6 to determine the wolf's strength and then you fought it. The Basilisk's Hollow is similar to the Fey Court in that you roll 2d6 and check the result. On a 2 or 3, you die. Really die. As in, start again with a new character. On the roll of a 4, you lose 2 lives and must try again next turn. On a 5 or 6, you lose 1 life and must try again next turn. On a 7, you lose 1 life but can advance next turn. On an 8 or more, nothing bad happens and you can proceed as normal next turn to the Valley of Thistles. Compared to the original counterclockwise route, this new route is shorter and the challenges are easier to face. So again, this central board should shave a little time off a standard game of Talisman. However, this route is more deadly. It's the only space on the board that will outright kill you if you roll poorly, and a bad result in the Meadow of Longing will teleport you farther than a bad result in the Siren's Grotto. In fact, if you feel you have to take this route because you don't have enough craft to deal with the Sirens, it does seem to put you at more of a disadvantage. A disastrous failure in the Fey Court will set you back an average of 6 turns. A failure in the Basilisk's Hollow will factory reset your whole game. I would have preferred to see a more balanced distribution of negative effects. The last thing to mention, which I did bring up in my main review of this expansion, is the Fey Dragon at the Crown of Command. She is still a Strength 10 Craft 10 foe that is immune to all spells, but she has a fate token that she can use the first time she fails in combat. Furthermore, other players can spend one of their fate points to refresh the dragon's fate point. This gives the players who are chasing the leader a way to buy more time to reach the Crown of Command themselves, which I think is a very neat addition. Overall, I think the new Inner Region board is good, even though it does nerf my favourite hero, the Dwarf, who normally gets a bonus when rolling in the mines. It's possibly not quite as balanced as I would have liked, and I feel there is one clear better path, so as a result, this region favours craft heroes over strength heroes. But I don't know yet if that would have a significant impact on games, and the paths are shorter and less annoying, with fewer opportunities for the massive setbacks that can cause a game to drag. I can see the Fey Domain becoming standard for most of my games of Talisman. But why not let me know your thoughts in the comments, because that is it from me for now. And that is it for my coverage of Talisman Nemesis Call of the Hunt. If you like this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.